the content for today. We are indeed taking a look today. I'm excited to say that we've got a couple of panelists joining us. Mr. Jack Jackner from Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
And Mr. Jim Cafey, who is joining us as well from AI Field Management. Jim, welcome to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
And we're excited to bring to you today the first part of a two-part series where we're taking a look at Rainbow development and partner opportunities. And really, this is a Did You Know series where we're trying to open up some and provide some insight into the CPaaS opportunities that we have with Rainbow. And Jim will be taking us through some particular opportunity that we have then with AI Field Management. So with that, Jack, I'd like to get us started. And Jack, why don't you just outline then today what we're expecting for today, and just give folks a brief idea. And then from that, before Jim, you jump into today's content, I'll remind everyone a few housekeeping things.
Okay. So let's just jump into the next slide. And I'd just like to sort of frame this meeting and what is going to become a series of meetings. It's an opportunity to establish communication between our Rainbow development partners and our business partners with the goal of identifying joint business opportunities of taking these Rainbow integrated products to customers. And first at bat, Jim Cafey, who is founder and is joining and speaking to us today about his product, which is AI Field Management. As Michael mentioned, this is a two-parter. Today's the first part, like overview and business proposition, with a deeper dive and a platform demo scheduled a week from today. And then the idea is that there is follow-up, either one-on-one with you as the business partner or you with an end customer, where we can pitch the solution to the customer. So great. Let me just remind what CPaaS Rainbow is. As you may have experienced Rainbow as an application that provides UC functionality, chat, presence, voice, video, sharing, on either desktops or mobiles. Rainbow, that application, is actually built on APIs. Those APIs are available to developers so that those functions can be integrated into a business application, as is shown on the right of the slide, as we will see later in Jim's presentation. So just to remind on the next slide, there is a number of APIs available. If you are at some point interested in some custom development for a customer, or you yourself have a product that you want to integrate into Rainbow, there is a number of APIs, SDKs, documentations, and a community of developers, and already some established products which are connectors, available for you to basically help you with that development. And in the next slide, we show you where to go to start. You may already know this, but it is the open at api.openrainbow.com is the community where you can learn all about it, download the APIs, and get started on your development journey. So with that, let me introduce Jim Cafey. He's been working with us for throughout this year and is ready now to present to you as a business partner the opportunities of a joint go-to-market. Jim, let me hand it over to you. Oh, Michael, yes, business.
Yeah, just before Jim jumps into, and thank you very much, Jack, for that outline and framework for today's content and discussion. Before Jim jumps in and delves into the content, just to remind everyone, if you'd like to ask any questions, Jim, I think you would appreciate any interaction today. So if you have any questions and you'd like to ask them in person, simply raise your virtual hand on your control panel, and we'll be delighted to unmute you, and you can ask that in person, or indeed just simply type your question, and we'll do our best to answer those real time. But at the end, Jim, Jack, we'll have a Q&A session. So again, if you have any questions, we can circle to them at that point. So Jim, thank you. With that, over to you.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you very much, Michael. Let's jump right into it. What we plan on doing today is providing some context and some detail on the AI field management platform and how we plan on integrating the platform with Rainbow and Alcatel. So it's really going to be an opportunity to see how the platform works and the integration opportunity in terms of collaboration and productivity. So if the AI field management platform is really based on productivity, we look for Rainbow and Alcatel to be the collaboration piece. So that's it from a high level. Okay, so why is field or operations management complicated in the 21st century? Well, it's a multifaceted problem actually. So let's jump into each one a little bit first. So one of the issues is we basically in our current society we have an unbalanced communication system, and what that means is that on a lot of different topics we under communicate, and what that means is that it creates missed opportunities and or creates problems for us. And that one we're probably familiar with, but the one that we don't always focus in on enough is the over communication. With all the devices, we're always online, 24-hour news cycle, etc. We have a lot of over communication, and that's really the silent profit killer because that reduces efficiency and focus of each worker. So really, communication is about having the right transparency and granularity on a need-to-know basis. Okay. Another issue of why field management is so multifaceted and complicated in the 21st century is that there's a lack of seamless aggregation of systems and processes. Because to do field management right, it's really an amalgamation of a lot of different systems, and that's why it's hard. It's really an HRS system. It's a CRM, an ERP, a document repository system by worker, by customer, by job. It's a scheduling, dispatching, management system. It's a process automation or productivity tool. It's a collaboration instrument. And it's a knowledge base to help you improve on your job execution. So really, to do this right, you need check marks in all these boxes. And that's partially why it's so complicated. Okay, now you might say, okay, it's complicated, but is it important to me or my business? Well, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal recently that indicated that just for idle workers, so workers that could be a little bit more efficient, for idle workers in the U.S. alone, it costs the U.S. economy over $100 billion a year in lost profits. So, obviously this is a big number. It's a big issue, and some of the lost profits are what I call silent profit killers, like I mentioned before. So it is an issue, and really any company in any vertical needs a solution that has a collaboration and productivity feature set, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So it is big money. Elevator pitch, in 5 seconds or less, what is AI field management? It's really about the 5 W's plus how. So in other words, who is doing what, when, where, why, and for how much? Who's doing what, when, where, why, and for how much? 40,000 feet level, there's a lot of detail that goes into giving that. But at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And obviously, it's a global system, so it needs to be scalable and global and in real time. If it's not global and in real time, then it's academic. So we have those in AI field management. We're headquartered here in California, in sunny Los Angeles. We are a software as a service or SaaS platform. So the pricing model is based on a per head, per month basis. And it's completely scalable from Soho right up to enterprise or government. Okay, high level, what are we talking about here? Well, AI field management, we take a different tact a little bit here. We try to give the customer everything from a certain perspective. We try to provide outstanding customer value by providing amazing features, but at an aggressive price. So that's really about providing value at the end of the day. So it's a device and platform agnostic. It runs on Windows, Mac, desktop, laptop, tablet, iOS, Android, no problem. It's cloud-based, global, instantly scalable. Clients, users can review, access, edit, retrieve, create jobs from anywhere, anytime. And not only is the pricing very aggressive, but it is also no risk. So there's no minimum number of seats, no minimum commitment period, no contracts. So it's really a month-to-month deal and they can increase, decrease, and come and go as they like. Okay, so what makes AI field management different? So we've talked a little bit about how much this is costing the economy, profits-wise. We talked a little bit about the multifaceted problem that is operations management. So what makes AI field management different? Well, for starters, it helps if you understand from the user perspective what you're trying to do here, right? We understand operations because we've worked in operations. We've worked in the field. We know how important it is to collaborate, communicate, and be productive. But we know technology also, and really you need a leg in both arenas to build a successful tool in this area. Number two, we have AI-powered translation of all messages. So this is something this is our first AI feature that we'll demonstrate to you. Actually, we'll demonstrate to you next week when we deep dive into the product. But just to give you a teaser here, AI-powered translation translates every message on the job board into your own native language, and it doesn't even ask you what your native language is. It knows what your native language is without asking you, and we support over 100 languages and counting. We have smart GPS, which means that it does not excessively use the battery on the worker's field phone, right? The last thing you want to do is track a worker for an hour or two and kill the user's phone. That doesn't help anybody. So we've got smart GPS. We've got an intelligent worker recommendation system that helps you book your workers, right? If you're double booking workers, that doesn't help anybody. If you're leaving some workers idle, that doesn't help anybody. So the system helps you figure that out. And as an overarching theme, we've got modular design throughout the platform. And why is that important? Because it's powerful, so it gives you the granularity and transparency you need, but it's simple. You don't have to go to a tab if you don't want to. It keeps the user experience nice and clean. All right, the Field app is designed to be easy, right? The last thing you want to do is make a Field app complicated. Field workers are often very hardworking, but not as technically savvy as the administrator. So we make the Field app very simple. And does not take a lot of CPU power, and it's using every square inch, if you will, of the screen. So we keep the Field app designed easy by design. We have future AI features coming. Obviously, the name of the platform is AI Field Management. We have future AI features that are coming, and the beauty of those features is that it will be leveraging current coding. So the current coding will produce data. That data will go into the AI models, so no time is lost with the current coding. It'll be a feeder system for the AI system. We have aggressive pricing without sacrificing on features. So this is really an area where that no one else is really targeting. There are companies up in Washington and in Silicon Valley that will remain nameless, but they charge an arm and a leg for the features they provide. And there's other companies that charge very little, but don't really give you enough to manage the business. We've really targeted a sweet spot where collaboration and productivity meet. AI FM is really about providing data and communication on a need-to-know basis, right? The right granularity, the right transparency. It's on a need-to-know basis because this addresses the problem we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, where you have over-communication. That's a real issue, and it's a silent one, and it's one that we address with our platform and helps improve your profits. And we apply the 80-20 rule in everything we do, which means we focus on what's important. That provides client value, and when you get client value, that provides business partners and users with repeat business, and that's the whole point. Okay, so you might ask, so why are we talking? So if you're on this call, you're a valued business partner for Alcatel and Rainbow. And at the end of the day, this is really it in a nutshell. Our business models are complementary, right? So if we've got the product, and the product here is a productivity tool called AI Field Management, and it's a collaboration tool with Alcatel Rainbow. If we've got the product, you've got the distribution and the relationships that we're looking to marry up, right? So it's a real win-win situation. We're already targeting the similar niches that you're talking to. And those niches appreciate a holistic solution, right, from a single supplier. So if you've got the relationship and we've got the integrated product, why not marry these two up and start a conversation? So we talked about the profits that are lost every year in the U.S. There is, and this is huge, and this is why we're getting a lot of uptick from a lot of global customers, not just in the U.S., but there is a lot of global pent-up demand, and we can't feed all of it. That's why ironically, we need help from business partners to handle some of the demand and the load, because there's a lot of global pent-up demand, and that demand, like I said, there isn't a solution out there that is really in that sweet spot that provides features at a reasonable price. So partners can leverage AI field management to cover the price sensitive side of the market. In this way, you never lose a sale, right? You're not excluded from selling other SaaS or cloud platforms. That's fine. But our platform will provide you with a plan B if a customer does not want to spend those Silicon Valley prices. You can have us as a plan B and not lose that sale. You can leverage our field management platform as a spearhead for other new products and services as an entree to those clients that you've been trying to get into, but you didn't have the right tool to talk to them about. Well, you can use our tool as our integrated tool as a way to get in, and then you can obviously offer them other new products and services that have nothing to do with us. And you can wrap new services around AIFM, and that's important because the SaaS pricing per month is just the start, right? And that's not special for us. That's just a general SaaS platform. Many customers, especially the SMB or enterprise, are going to need training, onboarding, integration work, consulting, customer service, tier 1, 2, 3, consolidated billing, and so AIFM is going to be a platform that keeps on giving, so to speak. The SaaS pricing per month is just the beginning. We're more than happy to share in the training, onboarding, etc., with you as our valued business partners as well. Okay, to give you some more detail on the company, we are focused. We have a global focus. We sell from America right to Zambia, but especially focused on the G25 countries, not only G7, but obviously the G7 is a major focus for us. We have an especially strong focus on large, medium-sized businesses. We've got a lot of that's really in our sweet spot, especially SMBs that have remote offices, field workers, or both. There will be no seller versus reseller conflict. We're more than happy to help you introduce the platform to your clients, and we'll help you get the message across with them. Pricing. So pricing will vary depending on the package, from premium right up to ultimate. Depends on where they're located on a global basis and the company size. But the pricing should range somewhere between $5 and $35 per head per month, with an average of around 20. Okay, and we can talk a little bit more about that in detail a little bit later. Since I'm the founder of AI Field Management, we've done this in the past. We'll do it in the future. If you've got a client that likes the platform, they'd like one or two tweaks to it, we're more than happy to rearrange the roadmap for those asks. And the platform is built from scratch. Our IP is completely proprietary, so we're not beholden to anybody, and it's part of the reason why we can go so low on our pricing when we need to. Localization features. The platform is currently available in English, Spanish, and simplified Chinese. We have on the roadmap to finish off with French, German, and Italian by the end of Q1 2019. We have international phone formats and international currencies available on the platform. Like I mentioned before, all messages on the app can be translated into your own native language. We support over 100 languages. And even job statuses are available in bilingual, trilingual, or multilingual formats. Even on the English platform, you can set those up in any language you'd like. So that's just another localization customization feature. Okay, so what does the platform look like from a high level? We've got over 330 APIs built on the back end. This is part of the reason why we're integrating with Rainbow Alcatel, is because we've got some we can really scalpel, if you will, the fields that we want to integrate with Alcatel. And most of those APIs are sitting right here behind the company admin panel. This is where most of the muscle is, if you will. Now, most of the communication happens between the company admin panel and the mobile field worker apps. Okay, this could be for people that are in regional offices, service techs, people on the road, what have you. This is where most of the communication is happening. We're currently building out a dedicated customer portal, as some customers and industries would like to provide access to their customers as well to be able to be in on the ecosystem. And so we're building that out, and it will be ready by the end of this year, so about 30 days or so. Okay, so what features, high level, come with the platform? Like we mentioned, the in-app language translation is there. We've got you can share messages, documents, pictures, all in real time with a date and timestamp. So this is like having a messaging stream for every single job, customized, organized, and documented for every single job. You get notifications for job messages. That's for the administrator in the field. You'll also get status change notifications as well, and that's for customers and for the admin and for the field. You can set up custom job statuses by company. Takes 10 seconds to set up a job status. It's that fast, that customizable. Then you can search on those job statuses. Intelligent worker recommendation system, no more double bookings, right? You'd be surprised how small a company starts to have double bookings. And it really starts at about the number 7 or 8 workers. That small a company starts to have double bookings, trying to book a worker twice or missing a worker. So this is a very low threshold and one that can really be leveraged with our platform. There's a full metadata audit trail on a per job basis. So that's always good for larger organizations that need that audit trail, or for any kind of government work or what have you. You can download and share all the job critical data in a PDF or Excel format. So that's really good if you want to provide a snapshot of where the job is at any particular time to anybody, without providing them access to the job. And you can confirm job completion from the worker or from the customer with a simple signature on any device, laptop, tablet, phone, no problem. It'll come with a date and timestamp. You can even do payroll on our system. It does not do the taxes, to be clear, because on a global basis, that would be a really difficult system to implement. But it does do payroll, including overtime. So that's a good thing. We have, like I mentioned, Smart GPS, where you can track your workers anywhere, anytime. There's a manual function there where the administrator can understand where the workers are at any given time. And there's an automated version of it as well. So if you don't have the time as an administrator to see where your workers are, the system will do it for you. And you'll be happy to know that the worker needs to be logged into the app for that system to work. And that's by design. Obviously, we don't want tracking of workers when they're not on the job. And one of our big features that we're working on right now is an integration with Rainbow and Alcatel Rainbow. And it is a peer-to-peer VoIP calling or access to the PSTN or video calls. And we're really excited about this one because it's really going to open up the collaboration piece of our system. And what it's going to look like from a real high level. So this is generic job 115. And let's say there's, for argument's sake, there's 10 people, 10 workers that are associated with this job. And these 10 workers could be anywhere from, Shanghai, Singapore, LA, whatever. They could be anywhere in the world. And instead of trying to figure out, who's working this job and what's their numbers and we need to talk and what have you, well, with one touch of a button, what's going to happen, and you can pick either, a voice call or you can pick a video call. With just that one touch of a button, the AI field management platform on the back end, you won't see this happening. It's all under the hood. Will access the Rainbow APIs that Jack had mentioned initially. And with one touch of a button, it will dial in all those people that are associated with this one job. So what you're going to have here is access to voice over internet protocol calling or access to the public service telephone network. And you'll be able to do voice conferences or video conferences. Again, this is roadmap for January 19. We're working on it right now. And that's really we're really excited about it. It's going to open up the collaboration piece of this. And it's really, as the suggestion here, it's going to be one-touch conferencing. So good stuff there. All right, let's talk about, AI is in the name of is hard-coded, if you will, in the name of the company. So let's talk about some of the AI features that are to come. Remember, the translation piece is our first AI feature. There are more to come. We'll touch on a couple of them right here. So some of the ones we're working on right now: sentiment analysis of workers, administrators, customers' messages. Now, keep in mind that all of these features are going to have a toggle on and off feature. So if you don't want to have this, no problem. You don't have to have it. For those users that want it, great. You'll have access to it. So the sentiment analysis of workers, administrators, and customers' messages to proactively manage and forecast which employees and customers are about to churn out. All right, this is going to be part of our natural language processing feature set, and we're really excited about that. Another feature that's coming down the pike is going to be our verbal UI for job setup. So right now, if an administrator wants to set up a job, you know, they've got to point, click, drag, drop, that sort of thing, which is great, which is good. But what we want to have happening in 2019 is for the administrator to verbally ask the system to set up jobs, this customer, that worker, this date, that time, and that's going to really free up your hands, literally, and then to be able to speed up things as well. One of the last ones I'll finish up here with is the system, based on the criteria of the job you set up, the system will intelligently recommend the best worker based on the skill set of that worker for a specific job type, for a specific date and time, for a specific geography. So if you will, it's actually going to make the administrator more of an approver rather than setting this up. Because right now, this information is in the administrator's head, so to speak. So what we're trying to do is automate this process. So when a request comes in, almost think of it like an Uber request. When a request comes in from a customer, and the customer here could be an internal customer or an external customer, depending on the industry, the system will say, you know what, based on who's in closest proximity to the job, to the customer, based on the availability of that worker, and based on the skill set required to do that job, they're going to give you a ranking of the top 10 workers of who can do the job. And then the system will be set up where you can just automate it and let it go off and do that, let the field worker accept it, or let the administrator approve that recommendation. So that's just a couple of cool features that we're currently working on that will be AI powered. Let's talk about security a little bit. That's always an important topic. So I mentioned 2 or 3 here. All passwords are encrypted. Our data transmission data is fully secure via end-to-end encryption. And of course, you know, we work off the AWS backbone. So whatever features, security features that AWS comes up with, we will benefit from as well indirectly. So good to know. Part of the presentation, and we're happy to, I believe Michael will be giving a copy of this out to our business partners. Here's some contact information for you regarding AI field management, WhatsApp numbers, cell phone numbers, WeChat if that's what you use, and including email as well, and websites for you. And that's at the end of the presentation. So with that, I want to thank you all very much for attending our session today. What Jack had mentioned up front, AI field management and the integrations that we'll be doing to a perspective. 3 will be a one-on-one with business partners and customers, customer meets that you'd like us to be able to also do for you and your customers one-on-one. So with that, Michael, I'm more than happy to thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jim. And as Jim mentioned there, that we will in fact be regrouping next Wednesday at the same time, same place, to have that second part where we will be taking that deeper dive. So if you have any questions just now on the overview that Jim's provided today, please go ahead and either, again, raise your virtual hand and we can unmute your line, or indeed you can just simply type that question. And Jim, you mentioned that today's content is available. We'll be making it available via a link to the most up-to-date version of today's content. And Jim, you mentioned previously in conversation that indeed as the information evolves, so you mentioned a few things there, for example, that are on the roadmap for features and such. You'll be updating those, and so everyone will be able to have the latest and greatest version. Correct?
Yeah, Yes, that's right. So rather than providing a PDF or a PowerPoint, we found it, and this is partially because in our industry things change so fast. We have a 2-week release cycle, so we've got new features that come out every 2 weeks. If we were to send out a PowerPoint, that would be like out of date within a few days. So we found it. We'll give you access to the link. Every time you hit the link, you'll be able to see the latest and greatest features that are there, and quite often something that you've seen as roadmapped, quote unquote, will then will be live, and then you'll be able to go on the platform and see it there. So you're quite right, Michael.
Perfect. No questions at the moment, Jim. And again, if you do think of any questions, anyone, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Jack and or any of the ALE team, and we'll be sure to make sure that we can respond to that question and or connect you with Jim to be able to provide that response. The question coming through just now, actually, Jim, that and Jack, both of you can maybe add some comment to, and that is, do we have specific verticals that we're planning to target initially?
Yeah, well, I'll jump on that initially, and then give Jack an opportunity to respond as well. The beauty of AI field management is that well, let me answer it in 2 ways. It's not the technology doesn't hold you back from any particular industry or vertical, because really at the end of the day, every single company or industry has workers, has customers, be they external or internal. You need job status updates on any particular project or job or task, and you've got jobs. So really at the end of the day, the model still applies. It's just that the variables will change on a per industry basis, and the system is set up to be able to be customizable for those different industries. Now, having said that, there are some industries that can make better use of the platform, such as service or education. So offline, Jack and I have talked about the different verticals that Alcatel and Rainbow are currently exploring, and AI field management, especially with the Rainbow integration, will work perfectly well with those industries that Alcatel is targeting. Jack, I'll pass it off to you at that point.
No, I think you covered it. So as the audience may know, we are going to focus on some verticals as ALE and have predefined solutions for those verticals that will help us sell our entire portfolio. And this is kind of the context that we are building an ecosystem of adjacent applications that integrate with our product solutions and help increase the value of what we sell in terms of communication, networking, Wi-Fi. So that in that context, yes, there will be a specific adaptation or bundling of these applications for specific verticals. Education being one of the lead ones for North America. Thank you. Good question.
And again, if you don't have the opportunity to or have not thought of something today that maybe comes to mind hereafter, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to provide a response. So gentlemen, with that, I'd like to thank both of you for your time today and providing us this insight, initial insight into the offering and the opportunities that we have together. And a reminder to everyone that next Wednesday then at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you can join us for part 2 of this particular series. And we look forward to your joining us then. And thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.